Today we're starting a brand new story that's full of mystery and twists. Once you hear it, you won't be able to stop thinking about it. So, sit back, relax, and let's jump into Purgator of Perdition. Our story begins on a rainy night. A girl is tied to a chair, and a priest standing in front of her asks if they're ready. A man and woman standing beside him confirm that they're ready and say he may begin the ritual. The priest smilingly introduces himself as Lucas Graham, a priest under the authority of the Holy Church with over 35 years of experience in the art of exorcism. Without further, he presents the star of today's exorcism, a poor young girl haunted by a malevolent spirit. The man says they've noticed strange behaviors in her, talking to herself, eating rotten food, crawling on all fours around the house, and the woman says the most terrifying thing is the moaning coming from her room every night. The man mutters that it's like she's lost her soul when she used to be such a sweet girl, and the woman says she's never let her near any man either. However, the girl madly declares that she forced her on Silas to get his inheritance. Lucas asks if that's true, and the man furiously questions if she lost her mind. He asks how she could let her do something so vile, so the woman asks how he's daring to judge her. She asks what the hell he's done for their family, and as they're arguing, Lucas tells them to stop it and reminds them they're still live on air. The girl keeps rambling, but Lucas repeatedly keeps slapping her in the face. The man hurriedly tells Lucas that's enough, but Lucas slaps him as well. Stunned, the man angrily asks how he dared to do that, but Lucas repeatedly slaps him too, so the man collapses and wearily asks if he knows who they are. The woman agrees with Lucas that they shouldn't disturb the ritual and believes they should proceed with it, so he slaps the girl in the face again. Lucas starts reciting something which makes the girl start to twitch. She desperately tries to break free of her restraints, seeing which the woman alarmingly asks what's going on. Lucas continues reciting, so the girl slowly rises into the air. The girl madly declares that she will make him pay, but Lucas closes his book and presses a button, electrocuting her. After a while of torture, the girl collapses on the floor, and the cameraman worryingly asks Lucas what that is, so he says, "This is exorcism secret technique number 3, electric shock." He tells the cameraman to not worry since everything is under control. He offers the girl a hand and asks if she has realized her sins yet, but she hasn't, so Lucas electrocutes her again. Lucas refers to her as the poor, wretched demon and says the Lord is always ready to forgive her. As the girl is pathetically lying on the floor, her dad imagines her begging him for help. Lucas sees that she's really stubborn and says no one can help her now, but the man hurriedly points his gun at Lucas and says, "That's enough." He orders him to stop it since the girl has suffered enough, so Lucas says he must warm them again. However, the man orders him to shut up and throw the remote towards him. Lucas agrees and slowly hands over the remote as the woman imagines the girl begging her for help too. She angrily rushes forward to shoot Lucas, but slips and shoots the light, causing the girl to start burning. The man hurriedly asks what they're doing, so Lucas says that wasn't his idea. The woman desperately asks someone to get the extinguisher as the electrical machine suddenly starts fluctuating. Lucas notices that something's wrong before it suddenly causes a huge explosion. A screen suddenly appears in the air, stating that it's syncing data. Once the data is synced, it welcomes him to Mortalis. As Lucas is lying on flowers, he wonders if this is heaven, and if he's dead since his body feels really light, lying among countless flowers. He realizes the sweet scent of the beautiful flowers is filling his lung, but starts coughing as he senses that the pollen is thick, dusty, and smells like plastic. However, he believes this must be the scent of holiness and wonders how a lowly, ignorant being like him could even comprehend the sacredness of this place. He tells himself it's okay since he'll eventually get used to it. He hears a hymn and says, "This sounds a bit weird, but that makes sense, since this is heaven after all." Menus suddenly pop up in front of him, stating that the safety barrier will deactivate within 30 minutes and telling him to proceed with caution. He hurriedly wakes up and questions where the hell this place is. He shockingly realizes this isn't heaven and wonders what the screen means. Lucas annoyingly notices that it's a hologram and realizes a ringing sound is coming from his head. He wonders if he wasn't already dead and wearily questions if he's still high. He admits that's impossible since he's been clean for a whole week. He starts slapping himself to wake up, but he shockingly realizes he can't feel a thing. He frustratingly smashes a brick on his head to check, but it still doesn't hurt him at all, so he laughingly wonders just how high he was. He says he has no clue what's going on and wonders where his smokes went. He suddenly experiences a bout of pain as the screen pops up in front of him, stating that self-harm behavior may endanger his body when the safety barrier deactivates. He wearily says the ringing sound is killing him and orders the screen to shut up already. Lucas questions if he could have a chip in his head and says that must be it, since there's no way he can be so high otherwise. He quickly picks up a steel bar and says, "The worst care is that he might have been kidnapped by some freaks, those psychos who implant chips into your brain and force you into twisted survival games." He bets there's a huge, shirtless brute behind the door, gripping 2 axes, grinning like a maniac, ready to butcher his prey. He cautiously walks towards the door and gets ready to open it. A weird skeletal monster is slowly walking through a hallway when it hears banging noises coming from one of the rooms. He peeks through the keyhole to see Lucas repeatedly slapping himself. The skeleton tries to open the door, but that doesn't work, so he checks the keyhole again but suddenly gets stabbed in the eye. Lucas hurriedly tries to pull the stick back, but the monster grabs it. When he yanks it, he's thrown back and part of the door breaks, revealing the monster's face. It starts destroying the door with its axe, so the screen warns Lucas the screen is weakening and tells him to be careful. Surprised, he wonders if it's trying to warn him and sees a light barrier around him, so if it disappears, the guy can break in. He realizes these sickos have created a safe zone to make him lower his guard and placed a killer right at the door, so if he hadn't noticed, he would have been dead. He admits this is definitely a survival game since every step hides a trap. Luckily, he's still sane even though this is a twisted game made by lunatics. Lucas remarks that they just want to see blood, hear screams, and enjoy the moment their prey fights back in vain. He wonders what he should do now since the shield is about to disappear. The warning might not be accurate, but if those freaks want to keep the fun going, they won't let him die easily. He says the current information, stating that the shield will deactivate in 4 minutes, must be real, so he needs to quickly find a way to survive. He throws all the stuff in the room in front of the door, remarking that the killer looked really strange. He wonders if it was some kind of mutation or hybrid since it had a deformed body, shriveled skin, and terrifying strength. That isn't something humans can do, so this pile of rotten junk won't last long. He decides to hide and tries to open the window, but it's welded shut and he doesn't have time to open it. He nervously realizes he doesn't have any weapons and can't run, and questions what he should do as only 1 minute is left. However, Lucas suddenly notices a bucket and smilingly realizes this is it, the thing that will help him kick that guy's butt outside. The screen begins a countdown and the protection period ends, so it tells Lucas to stay alert. The monster crashes through the rubble and wildly looks around for him. It notices a coffin in the middle of the room and slowly approaches it and attacks, but he surprisingly sees that it's empty. Lucas jumps, bringing the bucket down on the man. Next, he hurriedly throws another barrel of petroleum at the monster and hurriedly tries to light it on fire, but the monster throws his axe towards him. The monster manages to get up and kicks Lucas away, shocking him. Lucas wearily tries to get up and reaches for his lighter as the monster manically tries to lift the bucket off of his face. He manages to take it off, so Lucas angrily tells him to burn in hell. The monster grabs his axe and raises it to attack, but he throws the lighter at it and it starts burning. Stunned, Lucas sees that it's burning before the monster suddenly explodes. The screen warns him that physical damage has reached 68% and a newbie privilege has been activated, but it can only be activated once. It activates a temporary protection mechanism and states that it will last 15 minutes, auto-closing wounds, stopping bleeding, and temporarily reducing pain. It asks him to seek medical treatment before the protection ends. Lucas wearily gets up and picks the axe up, but the charred monster starts rushing towards him, so he hurriedly tells it to die and slashes it with the axe. The monster slowly collapses and the screen informs Lucas he's defeated the woodsman, a level Z shadow fiend born from despair and corrupted by death energy. He wearily takes the axe out of the monster's head and the screen tells him he can review his loot, XP, skill 3, and quests once synchronization is complete. Lucas suddenly hears something and realizes he needs to get out of here, while several shadow fiends rush towards him. He frustratedly sees that he's reached a dead end, and the screen informs him temporary protection protocol is nearing expiration, so he should complete treatment immediately. He quickly hides inside a vent as the group of shadow fiends rush towards his location. Lucas hurriedly covers his mouth and inwardly tells the monsters to get away from him and stay the hell away. He starts praying to God, but the screen suddenly pops up in front of him, stating that data synchronization has been completed. A shadow fiend hears the noise coming from the vent and slowly approaches it as the screen states that he is Lucas Graham, age 27, who is a priest, criminal, con artist, deserter, explosive specialist, and mercenary. It also reveals that he's a rookie and shows him his stats before welcoming him to the world of the dead, Mortalis. Stunned, Lucas asks what the hell the screen is and if it's an AI. He questions if it can understand him, so it greets him and says the system exists to provide resources, quests, rewards, and structures to assist players in their Mortalis journey. It introduces itself as Ellie and says it's pleased to assist him, so Lucas tells Ellie he doesn't care about what twisted freak show is behind her and asks it to just let him go since he swears to forget everything and to not remember a single damn thing about this hellhole. He says they should know he's dangerous since they looked him up, but it apologetically says it doesn't understand his request. He declares that he's really dangerous, so Ellie warns him temporary protection protocol ends in 2 minutes, so he should seek treatment now. Lucas orders Ellie to let him out before it's too late and says he'll remember all their voices before declaring that he'll track each one of them to their houses. However, Ellie informs him that temporary protection protocol has expired and urges him to seek treatment directly. Lucas starts spitting blood, and his wounds start bleeding even more, so Ellie asks if he would like to spend 800 AC to recover his body and reminds him that this is a one-time newbie benefit. Lucas wearily asks for help, so Ellie states that his current balance is 900 AC and 800 AC has been automatically deducted to activate full-body treatment. Lucas watches in shock, and all his injuries are suddenly healed. Thank you for watching. Do you like this manga so far? We'll be back for another part very soon. Please like and subscribe to JockJut Manhwa for more amazing videos.